Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Young and Restless preview. Consider Nikki's Party Crashed. By Aristotle Dumas. If only Young and Restless Aristotle Dumas had more in common with Beetlejuice, by now we'd have met him 100 times over, considering how often his name has been uttered. But finally, the stage is set for the Mystery Man's introduction. There's no way on earth that he doesn't crash Nikki's birthday party, right? Everyone who is anyone will be there and dressed to the nines. It's the perfect occasion for Genoa City's new mover and shaker to make his presence known, and, we'll wager, reveal that Billy Flynn, Chad, Days of Our Lives, is playing the part. Few characters in recent memory have been given so lengthy an introduction as Mystery Man Dumas. So often has he been mentioned that some viewers, not to mention a few of our own editors, find themselves frustrated by the slow-to-unfold story. Historically, parties on soaps tend to take very big, very dramatic turns. In fact, General Hospital just used their annual nurses' ball to have a much-loved character return to the canvas with a new face. A face, by the way, quite familiar to Young and Restless viewers. Longtime viewers will never forget David Kimball terrorizing Danny, Cricket, and Nina at the Masquerade Ball. More recently, the epic party thrown to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the founding of Newman Enterprises saw chaos break out after Victoria was stabbed by someone targeting Amanda. So while Victoria is doing everything in her power to plan a night her mother will never forget, she might want to make sure there's extra security on hand. Because whether or not we finally get a glimpse of the much-discussed Dumas, it's a safe bet that things will not go as planned. From champagne flutes to shattered expectations, the soiree of the season is about to become the scandal of the year. When Nikki Newman throws a party, Genoa City shows up dressed to the nines and armed with ulterior motives. But nothing, and no one, could have prepared her for the storm front named Aristotle Dumas. Not even Victor Newman's Rolodex of enemies felt as dangerous as the man who's about to make his presence known in the most dramatic, devastating, and, dare we say, delicious way possible. This isn't just a party. It's the grand stage for a reveal that's been months in the making. Act 1. The Calm. Before the collapse. Nikki, radiant in a champagne-colored gown and steely resolve, is determined to make this gala one of her signature successes. A celebration. For the opening of the new Newman Foundation Art Wing, the event is supposed to symbolize legacy, elegance, and unity. Of course, under the glittering chandeliers and manicured civility, fault lines are forming. Victoria, sharp in an asymmetrical black dress, is running defense between her mother and guests who can't stop whispering about Claire's sudden rise in Newman favor. Nick stands off to the side, glass in hand, eyeing Adam with the same weary tension of a man trying to unsee a slow-motion car crash. And Victor? Ever the puppet master, he's lurking with an agenda, all too aware that his power has drawn a new kind of attention, the kind that doesn't knock before kicking down the door. Act 2. The whisper of the name before the night turns. There's a whisper, passed from Audra to Tucker, from Diane to Jack, a name that sounds almost mythical. Aristotle Dumas. No one is quite sure if he's real or rumor, but all of them know enough to be afraid. For months, Dumas has been the invisible string pulling Genoa City's chaos into curious patterns. Leaked secrets, hostile acquisitions, and corporate paranoia. Even Nate, buttoned up and strategic, can't shake the feeling that they've all been part of someone else's game. Enter Claire, newly minted Newman Golden Girl. She stands beside Nikki with the poise of someone who has something to prove, and in that moment, the doors open, not metaphorically, but literally. Because in walks Aristotle Dumas, Act 3, the man, the myth, the catastrophe. If looks could kill, His would be the cause of a global extinction. Aristotle arrives not in a puff of smoke, but a tailored suit and unapologetic confidence. Every eye turns, every breath is held. There's something both refined and dangerous about him, like he's played this exact moment in his head 100 times and is savoring it finally unfolding in real time. Nikki's jaw tightens. Victor's expression hardens to stone. And Phyllis? She can't stop smirking. Because she lives for this level of chaos. "Sorry I'm late," Dumas says, casually stepping forward. "I wasn't sure if the invitation was real, or just another Newman." "Test!" Claire freezes. Nikki takes a step forward. And the cameras, because of course there are cameras, catch it all. Act 4. What he wants Dumas isn't here for champagne or canapes. He's here for truth and retribution. In a voice smooth as silk but cold as steel, he addresses the eyes room. "For those of you wondering who I am, let's clear that up. I'm the man who's been watching waiting, and tonight, I'm done waiting." He reveals receipts, a paper trail leading to Newman shell companies, a whistleblower lawsuit buried in litigation, a connection to Claire's biological past that not even she was fully prepared for. "This isn't a party," Dumas tells Nikki, voice lowering. "It's a reckoning." And just like that, the celebration implodes. Act 5. Claire's shaky ground. The shock on Claire's face isn't just performative, it's personal. Dumas's reveal cuts to the core of her own identity. Has she been manipulated again? Or, worse, is she related to him? Whispers swirl. Is he her father? A long-lost uncle? A construct of Aunt Jordan's twisted past? And Nikki, who has just begun trusting Claire, finds herself thrust into another emotional spiral. Her instinct is to protect. But who exactly is she protecting? And from whom? Act 6. Victor's line in the sand is expected. Victor steps up. "You've made your point," he growls, eyes boring into Dumas. "But you won't get what you came for." Dumas chuckles. "I already have." He leaves behind a flash drive on the podium, full of damning evidence, implicating several Newman subsidiaries in international finance violations. He promises that this is only the beginning. The real show is still coming. Then, as easily as he entered, Aristotle exits. Not with drama, but silence. Because a true power player knows when the curtain has to fall for the next act to begin. Act 7. Fallout and frenzy. Within hours, the fallout spreads. Nikki locks herself in her study, torn between betrayal and fear. Claire demands answers. From Jordan's journals, from the Newman archives, from DNA results that were never supposed to exist. Victor calls a board meeting for damage control. And Phyllis? She pours herself a drink and raises it to an empty chair. "Here's to the new era," she toasts, as if Dumas' chaos is a personal victory. Even Jack admits to Diane, "This Dumas guy, he just played us like a fiddle, and we didn't even know we were holding instruments." Act 8. A City on Edge, Genoa. City has always had its secrets, but this one feels different. It's not just a skeleton in the closet, it's a wolf at the door. And it's already let itself in. There's tension in every hallway, every office, every family dinner. Summer and Kyle argue over whether Dumas is an opportunity or a threat. Audra makes a quiet phone call to someone unnamed. Plan. "B," she says, "now." And Nate? He may be the first to realize that Dumas isn't just a man with a vendetta. He's a strategist who's willing to play the long game. Act 9. What comes next? In the days that follow the gala-turned-expose, Nikki's party becomes the stuff of legend and horror stories. No one talks about the art exhibit anymore. They talk about the crash, the arrival, the reckoning. Victor tightens his grip on Newman Enterprises. Nikki doubles down on finding out how Dumas knows so much, and what role Jordan may have played in his rise. And Claire? She's caught between identities. The one she thought she was, the one she tried to become, and now, the one Aristotle Dumas might force her to reckon with. Closing image, the invitation to war as the week ends. A courier delivers an unmarked envelope to the Newman Ranch. Inside is a single sheet of paper, black ink on stark white. This isn't revenge, Victor. This is legacy. Aristotle Dumas. The battle lines are drawn, and Nikki Newman, once the hostess of the year, now finds herself in a war she never saw coming, with a man who seems to know everything and still hasn't played his final card.